A medium Dior book tote can cost around $3,600. Before anyone calls that an investment, ask one simple question. How much of that price is leather, construction, repair value, and resale demand? And how much is just the logo doing expensive theater? That question matters because luxury bags are not all priced the same way. Some brands charge more because the bag has a long repair life, strong resale demand, careful construction, and a shape people still want 10 years later. Other brands charge luxury prices for canvas, trend hardware, seasonal prints, and a name that looks powerful in the store but weakens the second it hits the resale market. Number 7 on the never buy side is Versace. Versace bags can look powerful from across the room. The Medusa head, the gold hardware, the sharp black leather, the loud prints. The brand knows how to make a bag feel expensive before you even touch it, but that is also the problem. A lot of the value is visual impact, not long-term bag math. If you buy a Versace bag because you love the look, that is one thing, but if you are buying it as a luxury investment, the numbers are much harder to defend. The brand's strongest identity is fashion drama, not leather goods discipline. That matters because a handbag has to survive more than one season. It has to survive corner wear, handle strain, changing outfits, and the moment when yesterday's bold hardware starts looking like yesterday's bold hardware. The issue is not that every Versace bag is poorly made. Some are solid. The issue is that the retail price often asks you to pay for the logo's attitude. Once the bag leaves the boutique, that attitude does not always convert into resale strength. Would you pay luxury money for the same bag if the Medusa hardware disappeared? Number 6 is Valentino Garavani, especially the rock stud heavy bags. The rock stud is instantly recognizable. That was the advantage. Then it became the risk. When a design is tied that closely to one visible detail, it can age faster than a cleaner leather bag. The studs tell everyone when the bag was popular, and that can weaken the cost per wear. Valentino can make beautiful leather goods, but the buyer has to separate quality from trend memory. A simple leather shoulder bag may age better than a heavily studded one, but the brand's most famous bag language is exactly what makes full retail risky. That same pattern gets sharper when the bag is not just recognizable, but built around a logo surface instead of a long-term material story. Number 5 is Dior, especially the book tote. This is where the price tag starts doing a lot of storytelling. The Dior book tote is recognizable, polished, and easy to spot in an airport, a hotel lobby, or the front row of a fashion event. But the buyer has to be honest about what they are paying for. A medium book tote can sit around the mid-$3,000 range, and for many versions, the main event is embroidered canvas. Canvas is not automatically bad. A well-made canvas tote can be strong, light, and useful. But when the price moves into luxury leather territory, the question changes. How much leather are you getting? How repairable is the surface? How will the corners look after heavy use? How much of the price is construction, and how much is the giant Dior pattern carrying the whole argument? That does not mean nobody should buy one. If you love the shape, use totes daily, and want the Dior look, it may make sense for you. But as a value buy, it is fragile. The louder the pattern, the more the bag depends on the brand name staying desirable. Moving on to number 4 on our list, let's talk about the house of Balenciaga. Balenciaga is tricky because one bag can be a resale comeback, while another can be a risky trend purchase. The city bag proves that specific archival styles can come back strong. People still respond to the slouchy leather, the motorcycle details, and the early 2000s fashion memory. But that does not make every new Balenciaga bag a smart buy. The brand moves through irony, shock, trend cycles, oversized shapes, and cultural moments faster than most shoppers can calculate cost per wear. That is exciting for fashion. It is dangerous for a $2,000 or $3,000 handbag purchase. The lesson is simple. An archive icon with real demand is different from a new season bag trying to become one. One has already survived time. The other is still asking you to gamble. And once you see that difference, the next brands become easier to judge. Some bags are expensive because they are proven. Others are expensive because the brand is still hoping the market agrees. Number 3 is Givenchy. Givenchy has fashion authority. That is not the issue. The issue is that fashion authority and handbag value are not the same thing. A brand can make excellent runway pieces, strong tailoring, famous dresses, and still not have the kind of handbag demand that protects a buyer at full retail. That is where Givenchy becomes risky. Some bags have had real moments, like the Antigona, Pandora, and Voyou, but the brand has not built the same stable handbag ladder as Louis Vuitton, Chanel, or Hermès. There is no simple buyer rule where shoppers can say, this shape always matters, this material always holds, this model always has a strong secondhand market. When a handbag line depends on scattered hits, the buyer carries more risk. You may choose well. You may also end up with a beautiful bag that the resale market treats like yesterday's fashion memory. Number 2 on our list is Burberry, a brand synonymous with British heritage. Burberry is a strong brand, but its strongest product is not handbags. Its strongest product is the trench coat. That matters because every heritage house has a center of gravity. Hermès has leather, Chanel has flat bags and tweed jackets, Louis Vuitton has trunks, canvas, and travel goods. Burberry has outerwear, so when Burberry charges luxury handbag prices, the buyer has to ask whether the bag itself is strong enough without the British heritage story. Many times, the answer is not clear enough. The bags can be useful, some are tasteful, but useful and tasteful are not always enough when the price is high and the resale demand is uneven. If the brand's best argument is happening outside the handbag category, the bag has to work much harder. Number 1 on the never buy side is Gucci, but carefully, most new logo-heavy Gucci bags at full retail. Gucci is not a bad brand. Gucci has genuine icons, strong leather history, and vintage pieces with real collector interest. This problem is the full retail purchase of logo-heavy canvas, seasonal shapes, and trend-led bags that look exciting for 2 years and then become very expensive closet decoration. The GG canvas, the web stripe, the horse bit, the bamboo handle, these are real brand codes. But when those codes are placed onto every possible shape, the shopper has to ask what they are buying. Is it a strong bag, or is it a surface covered in recognizable signals? High search volume does not mean every bag holds value. A brand can be famous, heavily searched, and still produce bags that lose a painful amount after purchase. With Gucci, the smarter move is usually selective. Vintage bamboo, classic Jackie, certain horsebit styles, and cleaner leather pieces can make sense. But walking into the boutique and paying full price for the loudest seasonal logo bag is where the math starts working against you. Now, the list changes direction. The strongest bag brands are not always the loudest ones. They are the ones where the material, shape, service, and resale demand still make sense. Number 7 on the worth it side is Loewe. Loewe earns its place because the brand has a real leather goods identity. The bags are not just blank shapes with a logo added at the end. This puzzle, the flamenco, and the hammock all show a specific design point of view. You can often recognize the bag from the construction, not from a giant logo. That matters. A luxury bag should have something physical to defend the price. With Loewe, the argument is usually leather quality, shape, folding, softness, and design. This puzzle bag, for example, is built around panels and angles that create the shape itself. The design is not just decoration. It is the structure. The caveat is resale. Loewe is strong, but it is not Hermès. If you buy the loudest seasonal color or the most unusual size, you may narrow the resale audience. The better move is classic leather, practical sizing, and colors that do not fight your wardrobe. For the right buyer, Loewe is worth it because the bag still has a reason to exist when the logo is covered. Number 6 is Bottega Veneta. Bottega is one of the clearest examples of luxury without shouting. The woven leather, called intrecciato, is not just a pattern printed on a surface. It is strips of leather woven together, and that gives the bag texture, depth, and an identity you can see without needing a logo. That is why Bottega often feels more product-led than logo-led. The brand's value sits in leather handling, softness, and recognizable construction. A good Bottega bag can look expensive in a quiet way because the material is doing the work, but there is a warning. Not every Bottega shape is equally safe. Some of the very trendy, padded, oversized, or bright-colored pieces had huge fashion heat, then cooled down. That does not make them bad bags. It means buyers should separate the brand's leather craft from one specific trend moment. The smartest Bottega buys are practical shapes, neutral colors, and bags where the woven leather is the point rather than a gimmick. If you remove the logo from most luxury bags, many would look ordinary. With Bottega, the construction can still speak. That is the difference. The best luxury bags do not need to yell. They give you something to notice after the first glance. Number 5 is the row. The row is expensive in a different way. There is no giant logo, no loud hardware, no obvious status signal from across the street. The whole point is restraint. That can sound boring until you understand why the resale market has started paying attention. A bag like the Margot is not trying to win through decoration. It wins through proportion, leather, shape, and the feeling that the design will not embarrass itself in 5 years. That is a real advantage in luxury bags because trend exhaustion is one of the most expensive things a shopper can buy. The row also benefits from controlled visibility. The bags are recognizable to people who know fashion, but not so loud that they feel trapped in one season. That gives the owner more cost per wear. You can carry a clean leather tote or top handle bag with work clothes, denim, tailoring, or a simple coat, and it does not fight the rest of the outfit. This caveat is price. The row is not a bargain. If you want hardware, decoration, and obvious luxury signaling, it may feel underwhelming. But if the goal is a quiet bag that holds its shape in your wardrobe, the argument is stronger than the branding suggests. Number 4 is Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is worth it for specific icons, not every bag in the store. That distinction matters. The brand makes a lot of products, and not all of them have the same long-term logic. But the strongest Louis Vuitton bags have 3 things buyers should respect: recognizable design, durable coated canvas, and a repair system behind the product. Coated canvas is not leather, and shoppers should not pretend it is, but it can be tough, light, water-resistant, and practical. That is why bags like the Speedy, Neverfull, Alma, and Loewe have lasted. They are not just fashion objects. They are usable shapes with decades of repetition behind them. The repair angle also matters. A bag that can be serviced has a better chance of surviving real life. Handles wear, zippers fail, glazing cracks. If a brand has a serious aftercare path, that changes the cost per wear calculation. This caveat is saturation. Louis Vuitton is everywhere, and that can weaken the feeling of exclusivity. Some limited editions also age poorly. But if you buy a classic shape in a practical size, Louis Vuitton still has one of the clearest value arguments in luxury bags. The next 2 brands are more complicated because their prices can be painful, but the market keeps proving that certain bags from them are not ordinary fashion purchases. Number 3 is Chanel, but mainly classic or pre-owned Chanel. This is the most complicated brand on the worth it side because Chanel has 2 truths happening at the same time. The first truth is that the classic bags still matter. A slack classic flap, a 2.55, or a clean mini flap has a resale audience that many luxury brands would love to have. These shapes are recognizable, the demand is global, and the brand has trained shoppers to see these bags as long-term objects. The second truth is that Chanel's new retail prices have become very hard to defend on product alone. When a bag climbs from luxury pricing into small car pricing, the stitching has to answer for every dollar. That is where many shoppers start to hesitate. Lambskin is beautiful but delicate. Caviar leather is tougher but not always available in every desired style. Hardware, chain weight, flap alignment, corner wear, and leather finish all matter more when the price is this high. So the smarter Chanel advice is not never buy Chanel. It is do not buy the wrong Chanel at the wrong price. Seasonal bags, trendy colors, and unusual shapes can be risky. Classic silhouettes in black, beige, navy, or deep neutrals are safer. Pre-owned can also make more sense, especially when the condition is strong and the price is below current boutique levels. Chanel is worth it when the bag has already proven itself. It becomes questionable when the shopper is paying today's full price for a seasonal idea. Now, taking the number 2 spot is the iconic House of Goyard. Goyard is one of the strangest value stories in luxury bags because the material is not what many people expect. A lot of the famous bags are coated canvas, not full leather. On paper, that sounds like a weakness. In the market, it often works the other way. The reason is scarcity and recognition. Goyard does not play the same online retail game as many luxury brands. The limited access makes the bags feel harder to get, and the pattern is recognizable without needing a metal logo. The St. Louis tote, Anjou, Artois, and Saigon all sit in a world where shoppers understand the signal immediately. But the buyer still has to be practical. The St. Louis is light and popular, but it is not the most structured or heavy-duty tote. If you overload it every day with a laptop, water bottle, and chargers, the corners and handles will tell the truth. The Artois is usually the more practical choice because it has a zipper and more structure. Goyard is worth it when you buy the right model for how you actually live. The wrong choice turns scarcity into frustration. The right choice gives you a bag with strong recognition and less trend risk. That leaves the top spot, where the value argument is unusually hard to dismiss. Number 1 is Hermès. Hermès is not automatically worth it because it is expensive. Plenty of expensive things are weak value. Hermès is worth discussing because the brand has built one of the strongest handbag systems in the world. Leather goods heritage, controlled supply, repair culture, recognizable shapes, and resale demand that keeps proving the same point. A Birkin or Kelly is not just a logo purchase. The shape itself is the signal. The leather choices matter, the stitching matters, the hardware matters, the proportions matter. Even people who do not follow fashion can often recognize the outline, and that is rare. The important detail is that Hermès value is not limited to one fantasy bag behind a glass case. There's Kelly, Birkin, Constance, Evelyn, Picotin, and Garden Party all serve different buyers. Some are formal, some are casual, some are easier to wear every day. That range helps the brand stay useful instead of depending on one trend. The main caveat is the matter of access. Hermès can be difficult, expensive, and frustrating if you are chasing a specific bag from the boutique. The resale market can be even more expensive. Nobody should pretend this is casual spending. But if the test is long-term demand, repairability, material identity, and cost per wear. For someone who will actually use the bag, Hermès has the strongest case. And that is the real lesson across all 14 brands. Bad luxury bags sell a moment. Good luxury bags survive the moment. They survive use, repairs, resale, and the day the trend moves somewhere else. So before you buy any expensive bag, cover the logo in your mind. Ask what is left. Is it leather, construction, service, and a shape people still want? Or is it just a famous name asking you to do the math later? Comment with the luxury bag brand you think is most overpriced. Subscribe for more breakdowns that follow the money, not the marketing.